I'm making a video about a misunderstood topic, and that is masculinity. People have completely wrong views about what masculinity is, and they say it is bad. They say it everywhere, and young men start to believe that masculinity is bad, and they become feminine, gay, low testosterone, weak little bitches. Men are supposed to be masculine, women are supposed to be feminine. It's not vice versa. Nowadays it's switched. They say, oh, it's okay to cry. Show your emotions. You know what, you can be whatever gender you want to. Wrong. That is completely wrong. 5 years ago, I used to be that shy little weak kid with low testosterone. I used to listen to the bad advice like masculinity is bad, you should be weak, you should show your emotions and cry in front of that girl because then she'll respect you because you're showing your emotions and you're vulnerable. And maybe one day she'll notice how nice you are and then date you. All wrong. I've been through it all. I've been from that shy kid, that weak shy kid, to the person I am now. Nowadays masculinity is dying off. Now those purple haired people that identify as animals are probably like, yes, toxic masculinity, yes, oh it's dying off, it's about to go extinct. I'll get into what toxic masculinity is in a bit, but first you need to know what masculinity is, and most people have the wrong idea. The whole basis of masculinity is two things, that is to protect and provide for your friends, family, community, whoever it may be. Now if we think back in time to the Roman Empire, the men were providers. They would go out to the field, plant the crops so they could feed their family and also sell it off to make money. The soldiers would protect their family by going out and raiding these other villages, protecting their family by battling, and when they raided the villages they would get more resources for their community and for their family. Also the wife can stay at home nurturing and caring the children, and also the man if he is sick. The true basis of masculinity is for you to sacrifice pain and stress so your family doesn't have to go through that. Nowadays people say that masculinity is bad and it's toxic masculinity because someone stabbed someone. And because he's a man they say, oh it's toxic masculinity, his aggression, he stabbed someone. That is the complete opposite of masculinity. That is having no emotional control. School shooters are not masculine people, they are cowards. You having no emotional control and you go out and decide to stab, shoot, do whatever to someone, that is not masculinity. Let's take the example of domestic violence and abuse. People say that is toxically masculine, but that breaks the first rule and the first basis of masculinity, and that is to protect. Abusing your wife or girlfriend is not the masculine way. Now, I'm not trying to defend these people's actions. I don't believe that you should be doing that. Here is what Google says toxic masculinity is. Google says the traits of toxic masculinity includes aggression, emotional suppression, dominance, and discrimination. Often driven by the belief that men must be tough and unemotional, this can lead to harmful behaviors such as violence, sexual aggression, and refusal to seek help for mental or physical struggles. The last part, emotional suppression, I'll get into another video because I've got a lot to say about that. Secondly, violence, sexual aggression, and aggression, that is not masculinity. If we go back to what I said before, acting out on your emotions and lashing out on your emotions is not the masculine way. All those traits that were said about toxic masculinity of people who can't control their emotions, it is not a toxic part of masculinity. We're told all the time that masculinity is bad, and they use toxic masculinity as the main point, and it's very destructive because the more times it is said, the more young men believe it and they become more feminine and weak. Now, the reason why weak men, feminine men are so dangerous is because they're some of the most dangerous people on this planet. They're the people who will backstab you to get attention from a chick, to fuck a chick. They would backstab you for the most smallest stuff. They've got no loyalty and no emotional control, and they end up doing stuff like school shooting, stabbing, backstabbing you. Now imagine 4 billion men just like that. Those people with no emotional control will tear you down just to make themselves feel better. If you're on your self-improvement journey and you're building yourself up, you're improving yourself, they would like to tear you down so they feel better about themselves being where they are now, instead of actually taking action to improve their own life. Now you might be like, Liam, how do I know this? Because in my old friend group I had someone exactly like that. He was trying to kick me out of the friend group. He did everything to make me seem worse than my friends. I'll join my friend group and they'd be talking about, I'm like, oh, what are we talking about? He'd be like, nothing, doesn't matter. He was as big as snake. I talked about this in another video. It's one of my first videos about how to tell who's your real friends. I talked about before about controlling your emotions. That is a big part of masculinity, as well as discipline. They kind of go hand in hand. The discipline part is a part of the protecting and providing. The farmers wake up at sunrise, even if they don't feel like it, even if they're sick, they have to go crop their land, maintain their land, because if they don't, their family will starve. Now, another part of masculinity, which is one of the reasons why men nowadays are so weak, is testosterone. The lower the levels, the more feminine you kind of are and the more weak you are. And also if you've got estrogen in you, can grow bitch tits, which is also known as gynecomastia, where you literally start to grow breasts instead of your more developed pecs. I don't have gynecomastia, but I do know people that have it. It's mainly from the stuff you eat and stuff acting like estrogen, and also you being weak and not having much testosterone. I'll be doing another video later on about testosterone and nofap and how to optimize it, but it's too big to get into now. I see testosterone as the closest thing to Captain America's super soldier serum. I'll get into the benefits in the other video, but it literally makes you feel so good. Women get more attracted to you, you grow strength, you grow muscle easier, but I won't really get into that right now. But just think of it as super soldier serum, Captain America's super soldier serum. Now obviously, don't get into testosterone that much where you take literal injections like steroids. Don't do that, steroids is bad. You shouldn't be taking in substances from a vaccine. If you want to get high testosterone, you should be optimizing it in the actual natural way where your body produces it, because there are some bad side effects from steroids, like your body stops producing testosterone because it's relying on the steroid. Men nowadays have really bad testosterone levels because of the stuff they eat and also because they're jacking off all the time. Your grandfather, who is probably in his 70s, would have higher testosterone levels than an 18-year-old, which is crazy. Most men nowadays are confused. They're confused, what is a man, and is masculinity good or is it bad? Then they end up becoming lonely and weak because 80% of women want the top 20% of men, and that means that lower 80% of men can't even get attention from a woman. And with the stresses of what is a man, masculinity, loneliness, that is why men's suicide rates are so high. Men feel lonely, sad, feel like they're not wanted, nobody wants them, that's what they feel like. And they feel like, you know what, it's better off that they end their own lives, which is really sad. Now, if you are obviously in this position, you can go to therapy if therapy helps you, but honestly, most guys don't really like talking about their emotions, especially me. When I was in my sad period, I didn't tell anyone about that. But what most men can do, which I would probably recommend if you're in this position, is to talk to a really good friend about it who wouldn't judge you, who wouldn't go tell rumors being like, oh, this guy says he's sad. Talk to that friend, actually talk about your emotions, which might sound a bit weird, but it's better than killing yourself. Also, in that sad period, you should be trying to level up your life, because if this is the bottom, that means it's only going to be up. When I was in my sad period, I'm like, I need to change. I learned about self-improvement. It might have been the saddest period, the worst period of my life when I was in it. Now looking back, it was really worth it because I came out better. If you feel like your position can't get better, it will, bro. Just trust me. Keep on going through step by steps, improving yourself daily. Just keep on putting one foot in front of the other and you will be better. Trust me. Men nowadays, especially young men, are waking up to the lies that are being told about masculinity, about toxic masculinity, and they're starting to go the other way, becoming on self-improvement, becoming more masculine, optimizing their testosterone, all this stuff. They're becoming the better person because they've seen through the lies. Some people shame you for being masculine and improving yourself, improving your testosterone, but there's nothing wrong with that. Don't let them tell you that there's something wrong with that. That's fine, that's their own opinion. They can stay weak, you will be better. To be strong and masculine, don't listen to the noise. Keep on going through the paces. Short-term pain for long-term gain.